everyone, in this KT Travel Safe, we're taking you to those countries in Western Europe where UAE residents have been traveling to quarantine-free, even if they've been vaccinated with the Sinopharm jab, and that is Switzerland as well as Greece. In the previous episode, we showed you what travel was like in Greece. Now, we will be making our way to Switzerland, which involved filling up another locator form for the country. The airports during the summer season in Europe were very busy. All I needed was my vaccine certificate from Al Hussein application to be eligible to travel out. Switzerland accepts the Sinopharm vaccine and I did not need to do a PCR test. Flights were operating at full capacity and soon we touched down in Geneva. In this video, we will start off with exploring Geneva city and what travel has been like during the pandemic, before heading to the vibrant Lausanne city, followed by the affluent and picturesque Montreux, all to explore the fabulous French side of Switzerland. Well, here in Geneva in particular, over 60% of the people have received the double dose of the COVID-19 vaccination. Hence, things have opened up a lot more. People are a bit more liberal about it. You don't have to wear face masks out in public. So if you're planning a trip out here, you have to be careful and be mindful of the COVID-19 restrictions in this country. For example, here, if you are out and about in a public event, you're meant to show your COVID-19 vaccination card. The only time I've been asked to show my vaccination card has been either if I've attended an event over here or I've been boarding a flight. In the first stage of opening up, people used to show the contact tracing app called Social Pass. It wasn't strictly enforced by the time we arrived.
While you're departing, the airline company is asking for it. Once you arrive at the customs, there's not much of control because the control is being done before you enter to the airplane. Once you arrive here, masks are obliged everywhere inside. So when you go into shops, restaurants, bars, you have to wear the mask until you are seated. Once you are seated somewhere, you can take off the mask. It's not mandatory anymore in the streets to wear the mask. It's just recommended. It's up to everybody's decision if you want to wear the mask when you're in the pedestrian streets or not.
The hotels we checked in at had thermal scanners. There were dividers installed at the reception, and one could serve themselves at the buffet stations of restaurants, and the recreational facilities were all functioning. Even some of the taxis had the dividers in place for enhanced precautions, and you have to wear face masks when on board the buses. It was great to see the city being lively, with thousands joining the Confederation Day celebrations on the 1st of August. As a city known for conferences and events, its tourism took a big hit due to the virtual events. Geneva used to welcome 3.3 million overnight stays annually before the pandemic.
The biggest you are, or you were, and the more international you are, the more you suffered. If we look at Paris and Barcelona or Madrid, they suffered even more than we did here in Geneva. So that has been really tough. So obviously, we focused a bit more on the domestic market. They did come, but it was not sufficient to cover that. We lost more than 65% of the overnights. So that's a lot. So we could see now that the Gulf countries and UAE is allowed to travel and that they can come safely to Switzerland. We have a large amount of tourists coming back. We need to show that we are here, but it's basically that the restrictions open again. And what we expect for this year is to be at least the same level of overnights as last year.
The pandemic gave birth to new services such as the taxi bike, a tuk-tuk which takes you around the city while serving you a gourmet meal. As you're technically outdoors, you don't have to wear a face mask and can catch the best sights of the city. So if you're really short of time and would like to cram everything in, especially the different parts of Geneva, in an hour, then going on one of these 1 hour long cruises is always a good idea. For a 360-degree view of the city, heading on top of Mount Salève gives you the perfect vantage points. We then made our way over to Lausanne, a multi-story city that is built on 3 hills along the Lake Geneva. The historical architecture and cobbled streets make it a pleasant city to discover on foot. So for those who really want to get away from the city life and away from Geneva and away from our lives in the United Arab Emirates, they can come to Lausanne. And this place also, similar to Geneva, very walkable. So get those steps in.
So Lausanne is the capital city of the Canton Vaud. It's the 4th biggest city in Switzerland. So you have everything which the city is offering. Lausanne is a university city, so there's more than 35,000 students, university students, coming or studying in the city every year. So there's a lot of things to go out, also in the evenings, of course. There's a complete cultural offering. So with the city, what people are looking into a city, so our canton has it in Lausanne.
After a quick visit to the Olympic Museum, we took another train to make our way over to Montreux, the 19th century resort town that sits on the foot of the Alps, which has been frequented by celebrities and legends such as Freddie Mercury, who had recorded 7 albums in the city. And if you're looking for a place with a bit more of nature, a bit of a city vibe, a bit quieter, and also quite musical, then Montreux is a place for you to check out. Overlooking the French territory, Montreux boasts exceptional views of the lake and is home to the world's 2nd largest jazz festival. One has to visit the 13th century castle called Château de Chillon, which had been the residence of counts and Savoy of the Middle Age. It holds the title of the most visited historical building in Switzerland. Overall, Montreux is a city of friendly faces and well worth a visit. One point to consider when traveling is the cost of COVID-19 tests to fly back to the UAE. In Switzerland, it can set you back at least €130 or over 500 dirhams. Soon it was time to head back, with hopes that the world of travel will soon go back to normality.